Hey, what's up guys? Kevin here, Dark Spidey, and I'm back with another Magneto, and this time is the Koto. Same as the bust, it's my second take on this particular piece, and let's just say that I've put in a lot more work on this one than the first one I did. The first one I did, I had just started repainting. It was probably my third repaint, something like that. And I remember that it was very difficult at the time, and I went with a metallic color scheme, if you remember. And for this one right here, I wanted to, go with classic colors. And so I went with vibrant purple and bright purple, vibrant red, and just a couple of metallic parts. And for the first one, he was all metallic, except here I wanted some contrast between cloth and what's supposed to be armor. So not an easy one, very difficult piece to work on. There's actually a lot going on with this piece. It may be small, it's packed with a lot of details, and when you're repainting it, the whole point of repainting a statue is to bring out everything. So he's a caped character, and like most companies, Koto decided to seal the cape. And I remember at the time there were a lot of issues with people getting their statues in. They're broken, and so in this case, I started off by breaking the cape. Which is it's a bit extreme, I know, but I wanted to be able to repaint everything, and that includes his back, not just what you're seeing. Everything was repainted, and I made it so that the cape is now removable, which in my opinion is a lot safer for just, shipping purposes, or if I have to put it back in its box or something like that. So I started off by breaking the cape. It came in a lot of tiny pieces everywhere, so I fixed it, made a peg so that it's now removable, painted it, and painted the body, everything. And yeah, it was a lot of hard work for a repaint. Usually repaints are a lot easier than kits because they come all assembled, and all you have to do is paint. Except for this guy, it's a bit more complex than that. Okay, so yeah, went with a bright purple. There's actually a lot of different purples out there. This is what I have in mind when I think of Magneto. These are the colors. This is the paint scheme. So I thought it would look cool, because the problem is with this character and many other characters in comic books is that you're never too sure what the exact colors are. There's no accurate paint scheme for Magneto. It depends on the artists. So sometimes the belt is metallic, sometimes it's cloth, sometimes the gloves are metallic, sometimes it's cloth. It really depends. So I thought it would be cool for the boots to be, just cloth or leather. Same for the gloves, and make the belt metallic. Now, for most superheroes, I like them to look clean. Like, in the books, they may be, fighting sentinels and whatnot. They always look super clean. Their outfits are in pristine condition. But for this one, I thought just a little bit of weathering on the metallic parts would look really cool. So I weathered the helmet and the belt, as you can see. And, it just gives contrast and make it more believable, I guess. And as I'm sure you've noticed, I did a glowing effect for the eyes and hands. Now, I wasn't too sure at first. I'm not a huge fan of glowing effects. because it's kind of hard to do. And if you're this is a technique called OSL, stands for Object Source Lighting, and if you're a miniature painter, then you're very familiar with it, like Warhammer, stuff like that. And it works really well on small scales. So anything bigger than, say, quarter scale is gonna look weird. Like I would never do this on half scale or even 1:1. It will look ridiculous. But on something like this is a small scale, it's about 1/7. It works really well. So painting the effect in regular paints, it's not UV or anything, so you don't need a black light. You don't need a black light to get the effect. It's permanent, which is what I wanted. Because if you use UV paints, which is what I did on a Shinakuma that I'm working on, it looks really great. You really get a super nice glowing effect, like a light up feature. But you have to be walking around, your collection room with a black light, a UV lamp, and that's just that's a bit weird. So yeah, I wanted the effect to be permanent. I started off by painting the hands. I thought it looked cool, but then I realized I had to do the same thing for the eyes. So the cool thing with this statue is it comes with two portraits, one with a helmet, one regular portrait. And I decided to go with the helmeted portrait for the OSL. Reason being, if you're gonna paint this effect, you need something around the character, around the source, around the light source to make it believable. And that's why I used the helmet, because of the edges of the helmet. I could paint them in this light blue color, just to make it more, just to strengthen the effect, which is something that I couldn't have done, obviously, with the other portrait. Okay, so now for the base and flying parts, I wanted to paint these, in a more realistic way. I thought it would look cool to have, a very bright character, superhero, and for the metal parts and the base to look more realistic. So I went with rusty, super weathered metal look. I hope you can see that. And I'll just stop the turntable and show you. Okay, so I started off by painting the base in super gloss black, chromed everything, and then weathered all the danger room parts. For this, this is an idea, actually. This is Vince Vell's idea originally. I had him paint Magneto for me a few years ago, and he thought it would look cool to have this pool of melted metal to be chromed. And so I did it again on mine. I thought it was a great idea, so I kind of stole that from him. And so everything was chromed, same as this, and then I weathered everything to look old and rusty like this. So I'm just gonna, yeah. So you can still get some cool reflections. You can tell that it used to be chromed, except now it's all weathered, rusty, and well, you can tell that it's been one hell of a battle. And I'll just put it back on later. So there's rust, old metal. It's actually a super detailed base. The paint job originally is pretty crappy straight out of the box, and this was super time consuming. Just the base, I think I spent about 10 hours, something like that, on the base. Working with metal, weathering, it's not super difficult, it's just very, very time consuming to get everything to look natural. It's such an awesome sculpt. This is the statue that got me into collecting big time. I remember seeing the videos from Comic-Con, and I thought the sculpt was amazing. I wasn't a huge fan of the paint scheme, and at the time I wasn't a painter, I couldn't paint, but this is what I had in mind. And the funny thing is, at the time I had a couple of artists repaint Magnetos for me, this piece, and I was never 100% happy because I had this is exactly what I had in mind, and it was kind of hard to explain because I didn't know how to explain. I wasn't too knowledgeable when it came to colors and everything. But it's a pretty great feeling after 4 years to see this come to life. It's pretty great. Now I'm going to show you the other portrait, which is extremely cool. Okay. So this is actually what Magneto looks like in X-Men #1, the second page. And he does have the glowing eyes with this non-helmeted portrait. So I kind of went with the opposite of what's in the books. But it's a beautiful, beautiful sculpt. The likeness to Jim Lee's art is absolutely amazing. It's just awesome. Eric did an absolutely beautiful job. So if you have this piece, if you know it, the eyes weren't painted. It's just white eyes, and the skin is very pale looking and not too detailed. So I did my thing. Unfortunately, with all the light, you can't see all the shading in the hair. It kind of washes it out, but it's a lot more contrasted than that in person. It's just a very, very cool portrait. Alright guys, so I think I've covered everything. This is my take on the Koto Magneto. I hope you like the result, and I will be back soon with a lot more kits and repaints. Thank you for watching. Bye bye now.